Hey everyone, it's Scott here from SUQ Sports Fishing, Estuary and Dam Charters, and here we are at the beautiful Gold Coast once again for our regular tech tip. So our first tech tip had a huge response, and it was great to see so many people get some information out of it. And I did put a post up on the Facebook page in regards to what people would like to see on the tech tip we do each Thursday, and pretty much to see what people wanted to understand and learn. So obviously running a charter business, I can't give too much away. That's why you got to come on a charter to learn these little things. But we want to talk a bit more about the basic side of fishing, which, you know, biggest questions I get asked on the charter. And one question I saw on the post the other day, what people wanted to know is knots and how to set up a rod. And so that's what we're going to do today, is show you how to set up a spin rod for basic lure fishing. So it's pretty simple. A lot of people do tend to get really complicated with knots and setups and this and that. But what I'm going to show you today is what I've been using for the last probably 15 years. It's quite an old school way of doing up your setups and knots and etc. But it has worked really well for me. I won over 40 comps around Australia. I've been guiding for 2 years, and I never ever have an issue with this setup at all. So what we're going to talk about, we obviously got a spin rod here, okay? So first thing is braid. So braid is really important. You've got to have a decent braid. And again, this is my personal preference and recommendation. But what I normally use, and I've been using this for a very long time, is, and I'm not sponsored by any line company or anything like that, but I just find it's the best for the way I fish and the way I teach my clients to fish, is to use the standard Berkeley fire line, the old school stuff. This stuff is phenomenal. It is by far the best braid I've ever used. I like the crystal colour, which is the white. It stands out on the water really well. And it does make a difference if you're throwing deep water plastics, if you're throwing, you know, soft plastics in the structure and stuff, watching that line, hard bodies, whatever. I just find this is by far the best braid in the market. It is one of the cheapest braids. For a spool, it's about 20 bucks, 25 bucks normally. You can probably get a couple reels spooled up with that. And it's just the way it sits on the water, it's just the way it crinkles. The problem with a lot of lines these days is that they are a good marketing ploy. They're nice and smooth and they're nice and thin and this and that, but the problem is you can't see it. And when you're lure fishing, and a lot of my clients will understand about this, and some of the tournament guides will as well, is you've got to see your line. Your line is the most important part of lure fishing. So Berkeley fire line, I normally run 6 pound. 6 pounds a kind of mark where you can't actually snap that line with your hands. So 6 pound is always a good line to start off with. So the new Berkeley X9 and the new Berkeley line I don't like. I've used it, I find it pretty horrible. I don't find it lasts very long at all. This stuff will usually last me over a month of guiding on one spool, which is pretty cool stuff. So I've used other lines on the market lately and they've been pretty much the same. Probably get about a week or so out of them, probably 5 charters, and they just start falling apart, and just the line starts to turn discoloured and crap. So no good at all. But this stuff here I never have a problem with. So basically what we do is we grab the line up here. So lay it down here, ready to go. Now leader wise, very important leader wise. And again, you'd be surprised, I use the basic Berkeley Vanish fluorocarbon leader. So you can get a spool of 228 metres of this stuff from Anaconda at the moment for around 18 bucks. That'll last most people a year. It'll last me about usually 3 or 4 months. But this stuff here is the best leader I've never had a problem with it. I have used other leaders recently. I've tried different stuff and they just don't have the same kind of breaking strain. And a good you've got to use fluorocarbon. So a lot of people try and use mono. The problem with mono is that mono actually attracts sunlight. So when it's in the water, when the sun's beaming through the water, mono actually attracts that. You can actually see the line. It's quite an old school line where fluorocarbon is invisible to sunlight. So when it's in the water, you can't really see it. It's very hard for the fish to see. And that's why normally you can run a little bit heavier fluorocarbon normally than mono to get the fish, but a lot more abrasive as well. So what you want to try and do is 6 pound is what I normally throw. And again, that's what I use. 6 pound braid, 6 pound leader. You know, we see on the Facebook page some of the fish we catch, you know, some of the big fish. That is what we use to catch them on. Not a problem with breaking strain. It's more about the fish busting you off on the reef. And even if you ran 20 pound, they'll still bust you off. So don't go too heavy. It's very, very important. Once you go below 6 pound a leader, that's when it starts. You can actually snap. A fish can do a big run and snap the line. Where 6 pound, normally it won't. So, and again, if in a lot of these areas you throw on 20 pound, you're not going to get the bite. So normally 6 pound is kind of the mark. So what we're going to show you today is a basic surgeon's knot. This is an old school knot that I've been taught a long, long time ago. I've been using it for 15 years and never had much of a problem. So you basically got got your braid here and you've got your leader, okay? Give yourself a bit of room, pull them both out, okay? And what you do is that you pull them both together, so they're both there like that. Pull them, double them up, do a loop. The trick is to hold that like that. So here is your tag for your leader, and that's your braid, okay? And then what you've got is your leader here, and that's your tag for your braid. So what you want to try and do is put your leader and your tag of your braid through that loop 6 times, okay? Go 1, I usually grab my tongue, it's a bit easier. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we're done. You can see that there. It's basically all through. So here you got your tag of your leader and you got your braid, so you grab them two, bit of loop, got your leader here, got your tag to your braid. You basically pull them together, as you can see, and it comes in nice and tight. Usually grab this leader tag here, bit of a yank, grab your braid tag, bit of a yank, grab both your tags, scissors, cut your tags off, not too close, just a little bit off. And basically what you've got is you've got a perfect, it's hard to see, perfect knot. Awesome knot. And normally if you're leader, what you want to try and do is have about 2 arm lengths. You actually got to cut the leader off to do this knot. You can't have it on the spool. So you have 1, 2 arm lengths, just like that. And what you do with your leader, so a jig head, hard body, surface lure, I just do a basically half hitch blood knot. So put it through the loop, do about 8 turns, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, put it back through the loop, pull it tight, done, ready to go. So what you want to try and do is you want a knot that actually moves on the jig head a bit too. That's pretty tight, but has that little bit of movement too, which gives you a lot more better action. You don't want a knot that is basically wrapped around that thing, it doesn't move too much. So simple as that. A lot of people get way too carried away, especially in estuary fishing with knots. They do doubles, they do this, they do that. It's not a necessity. It's not needed. Again, that's what I've used. Success basically shows that it works. And very simple, very successful, very basic, easy, anyone can do. So hope that's helpful, guys and girls, and basically you know, that's this week's Thursday Tech Tip. Pretty simple stuff. We'll do some more next week, and we'll talk about other things that people want to know about with sounders and certain soft plastics and stuff like that. But again, we're not going to get into the depth of fishing. That's what you come on a charter for, but we want to just go through the basics and show people just the basic things and how to make fishing easy. So, all right, people, see you next Thursday.